Hello boys and girls, and welcome to my video. My name is Gabriel and I'll explain everything you need to know about farming artifacts on open world. This guide will be very long, so I have divided into 4 chapters for you to go directly to the one you're most interested in. If you're a new player, I highly recommend that you pay attention to the first chapter in order to understand one of the most important mechanics in this game. If you are a veteran player and have been farming for a long time, just skip to the chapter 4 to see Inazuma's artifacts route, okay? So, before further ado, let's begin. Why should you farm artifacts daily? Artifacts play a big role on how powerful your characters are, and the reason why is that the 5 pieces increase your stats more than your average 5-star character or 5-star weapon. You can see for yourself by making some tests using the same character with and without the artifacts. But to level these artifacts and make them stronger, you will need 2 things: Mora and Artifact XP. Mora is used on everything in this game, and one way to do this is by destroying your own artifacts. So, if you're short on Mora, farming artifacts and destroy them is a viable option for you. The other resource is Artifact XP. It comes from your other artifacts, in which case you fodder them to level up your other artifacts. The problem is that this resource is very limited. You need to spend resin in an artifact domain to obtain new artifacts to level up. Another way to level up your artifact is to buy these 2 materials from Tuddy in your Serenity pot, but you won't be able to fully level up a 5-star artifact from 0 to 20. With only these materials, because the total amount of XP needed is 270,475, more than what's on sale in Tubby's shop. That's why you need to farm artifacts in your open world every single day. It's free, every player can do it, and will help you in your resource management, be it destroying for Mora or level up your other artifacts, so that you can spend your resin on other activities if you so wish. Now that you're convinced that farming artifact is important,
at least I hope so,
it's time to talk about who should be in your team to maximize speed and waste as little time as possible running from point A to point B. First, let's talk about movement speed. Mona and Ayaka both have alternative sprint, which is faster than a normal sprinting. However, it consumes more stamina than a normal sprinting. If you don't have any of these 2, just use any male adult character, because they sprint the fastest. Between them, the best choices are the ones who has a passive talent that reduces stamina consumption while running, like Keia, or the ones who has an animal vision because of its resonance. Speaking of it, the animal resonance and Rosaria both gives 10% more movement speed, so they are a must in your team if you have them. You can see the result from this comparison right here. There are also some other ways to increase your movement speed, like Diona Shield and G's second constellation. But there are some problems here. In Jin's case, you need an enemy to produce an elemental orb, while in Diona's case, you need to stop every single time to reactivate her shield, which makes you lose some time here. This is the team that I'm currently using. Jin and Xiao are there just for the animal resonance, while Xiao reduces climbing stamina consumption, which can be useful in certain cases, but not all of them. Rosaria here is there for the bonus on movement speed, while it's night, that's pretty important. Finally, Keia here is my main runner of choice. You could also use Mona or Ayaka as a main runner, but in my preference, I prefer to use Keia because I can save up some stamina, and because of that, I can run longer than just running faster, which is more convenient for me. But if you decide that your main run is gonna be Mono or Ayaka just because you wanna have a character that runs faster, be my guest. Either way, it's fine. But keep in mind that the next tip that I'm gonna give you, it won't be useful for Mono or Ayaka. And my first tip is to use a stamina food, especially the ones that reduce stamina consumption while running. There are a lot of those foods, but the best one would be the Barber's specialty one, called Spicy Stew, just because it lasts longer. But really, any of these will suffice. Now, the catch about this tip is that stamina food, it does not affect alternative sprinting, only normal sprinting. That's why I choose to use Kea as my main runner, because there are a lot of sections in this route that we're gonna have to run a lot of distance. For my second and final tip, you need to be careful on the number of investigation points that you do investigate. Why do I say that? I say that because there's a limit of 100 per day of investigation points that you can search. So what I recommend? I recommend that you farm the artifacts right after you open the game, so that after you're done with that activity, you can then feel free to explore as much as you like. We are going to start our farming in Liyue at this location right here. You can use YouTube's options to speed up the video and also pause it whenever necessary, okay? Very good? Then we're going to start in 3, 2, 1 and go! In this location, we will have to use a geo character to activate the geo platform here, so that we can ride the wind current, avoid climbing the mountain and losing time. If you have Kazuha, your team could consist of him, another animal character, Zhongli, and Rosaria. Kazuha is animal and has the same passive talent as Kea, while Zhongli can run as fast as Kea while also activating the geo platform. If you don't have any of these characters, don't worry, just switch the team like I did and use Geo Traveler or Niguan. In the next artifact, you can do what I did or teleport to a nearby Statue of the Seven and glide over to this camp. The time spent is almost the same. Be extra careful here. The next investigation spots are pretty close together, but only one of them have artifacts. Just remember to search for the one to your right. Near to this treasure hoarder camp, we have the first Tanuki boy. There is a total of 3 of them that will give you an artifact if you play with him. I was a bit lost on its last location, but all you need to do is to light the torch down there with a power character and investigate afterward to grab the artifact. Because I've reached my limit here, I had to destroy some artifacts to open up some space in my inventory. I chose 30 1-star artifacts, and you can see that I received in exchange a total of 12,600 Mora. The last location is Tatarasuna. This place is only available for you if you start the quest Tatara Tales. It's a 7-day in real world quest, so be sure to initiate this quest if you want to find the artifacts inside here. After I jumped this bridge, I forgot to grab an artifact that is in a crate to your right. That is why there is a cut in this segment. Don't be worried, you just need to run up the path from the last crate to this bridge here. Back to the topic of Tatarasuna, while you're here, you constantly lose HP because of the Bug Thunder environment. This will only dissipate if you complete the Tatara Tales quest, but until then, You can use Barbara's elemental skill to cushion some damage. You can also use the Electrogram to avoid taking some hits for a short time. Speaking of Barbara, thanks to her passive talent, while her elemental skill is active, your character will use 12% less stamina, which will help you while you are running, climbing, dodging, etc. Now that the farm is complete, let's overview our results. We got a total of 128 artifacts, where 19 are 2-star. In terms of XP, we got a total of 61,740 points. If you do this for a whole week, you'll be able to fully level up one 5-star artifact from 0 to 20, and another from 0 to 16. About the investigation spots, the total amount were 98, 55 from Liyue and 43 from Inazuma. If the cap is close to 100, then the argument I was defending at the beginning of this video, where I recommended to use those investigation spots only for artifact drops, do stand. Be mindful of that. And finally, this run lasted for 28 minutes, but you can be sure that the time could have been lower. After memorize all the spots, remember to always change nighttime to keep Rosario's buff and refill your stamina food. You can lower the time to 26-25 minutes or even lower. Before you leave, subscribe to my channel for more Genshin Impact content, and also give a like and a comment down below to give me some support. Well-structured guide like this take a while to finish it, so I appreciate it if you could do that. Goodbye and happy gaming!